Hey, Merry Christmas! Let's make some sparks. Welcome to Hack a Week. So how's this for a Christmas present? A video on Christmas Day. We're going to get the ignition on the CB750 today. Put the points in, the coils, stick a temporary battery in, crank things over, see if we can make some sparks happen. We need to get the points on this points plate first, and we'll work on that up on the bench. This is the points plate, the ignition plate for the 750 Honda. It resides on the right side of the engine. And we need to take all this stuff off and replace it with all this brand new stuff. It's all just held together with screws. You can use a flat blade screwdriver or a Phillips to take the pieces and parts off. First thing we'll do is remove all this stuff. Alright, now we can get all this stuff unwired from each other and put the new stuff on. Let's keep track of the wiring here. These points went over here on the adjustable plate. This one went on the main plate, and that's the blue wire. The yellow wire goes over there. Pretty easy to remember because it's a longer wire to reach all the way over there. So what we'll do is just take this stuff apart right here like this. We'll go ahead and save those points. They're still usable. They're really not that bad, but because I've got brand new ones here, and that was oriented this way, we're going to loosen this nut, and we're going to install behind all the washers. We'll install the condenser lead and the points lead, and if you just arrange them like that, that should be fine. Tighten this nut back down. That takes care of one side. Now we can mount these back up on the points plate. Make sure you get all the washers on the screw. There should be a large flat washer and then a lock washer. We'll just snug that so that we can still move the points plate there a little bit. And now we get the condensers mounted up. There's a little dot on the back side of these, and that lines up with the dot right here and then the screw hole. So it keeps it aligned for you while you tighten it all up. Put this one over here in first. There we go, points, plate, all refurbished. Except for one thing. See this little felt pad right here? That is meant to have a little bit of oil on it that keeps the cam on the end of the crankshaft a little bit lubricated. Whoops, that's quite a bit of oil. Ha 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 ha. Made a mess on my bench. Probably better to put it on this way. These points came with this little grease packet, and what that's for is to smear a little grease on the followers right here for the points inside there, and as it spins around that also helps keep these lubricated and keep them from wearing out too fast. So I've cut one of these open already, and we'll just put a tiny bit on the end of that follower on each set of points. Just enough so it just kind of gets caught back in that little corner pocket. Now we're ready to put this back on the engine. So there's 3 screws that are here in the engine. I've got to get out of here because they hold the plate in. I left them in there so I wouldn't lose them. The plate goes on over the top of this. So this whole nut assembly has to come back off. 10mm wrench on that inside nut. Put it on there before. I didn't tighten it completely because I knew I was going to take it back off. So that comes off, and then the points timing plate can go back on. We'll put this on there with that circle right there pointed right at the pointer here, because that's where you're going to look at your timing reference mark. Let's put the screws in. We're not going to tighten them up because we're going to be moving the plate around. And these guys will exit right out through this hole here. I believe a grommet's supposed to be in there. I gotta look that up. Maybe, maybe not. Now we can put this nut back in place. And we'll put the 10mm nut on there. I shouldn't have to get that really tight. Just make sure that that nut is lined up where it's supposed to be. Ooh, hello. That's good right there. Right there is the mark for cylinders 2 and 3 to be firing. We're viewing that right through that hole in there. If I rotate this around now 180 degrees, we're going to see 1 and 4 coming up. And rotate it a little more. There's the firing mark for 1 and 4. And that's the top dead center mark for 1 and 4. Right on the T mark. So let's, this is 1 and 4 set of points right here. This is 2 and 3 over here. So we're going to be checking the gap on these first. It's time to gap the points. So we are going to rotate things around here where, let's see, let's go to number 1 and 4, and that's where it fires, and it should be at full lift, just a little past that. I can watch the points opening right there. I believe that's where I want to set the gap, is where it's at the widest opening. So the gap's at its fully open position right now on the points. We'll put a 14 in there, and I can take a flat blade screwdriver and adjust the base of the points right here for a bigger gap or smaller gap. I need to tighten up the screw just a little so it'll stay in place as I adjust it. And 14 thousandths should just slide in and out of there real easy. That feels pretty good. Let's tighten that up and check it again. Sometimes they can move a little after you tighten that screw. That looks good. Now we'll swing it around past 2 and 3, which is this set of points. And that's at maximum open. Let's check the gap. Right there. Let's tighten it up right there. And check it again. See, that one got a little tight on me. Loosen that a little bit. And loosen this a little bit. That's good. Tighten it again. Check it again. We're good. Now that we have the gap set, we can set the timing. I've got a continuity tester hooked up here. When the leads touch, you hear a beep. I'm going to take the black lead and ground it to my engine. We're just going to do a static setting on the timing. There's 2 sets of points here. The one with the yellow lead goes to cylinders 2 and 3, and the blue lead is 1 and 4. Right now the continuity beeper is beeping because I've got it connected to the one for 1 and 4, and I've got it on the F mark, and I want to turn this until the beep just goes out. We're going to turn it counterclockwise. Right there we hear the beep go off. So we'll just snug up one screw here lightly. We're going to back up the motor, and then we're going to creep back up on it and see just where the beep quits beeping. That's right on the F mark for 1 and 4. That takes care of cylinders 1 and 4. So we'll snug these screws up. And now we'll take care of 2 and 3, which is over on this plate. This plate right here moves independent of the bigger one. So we can switch wires now. Put it on the yellow wire. Let's check ground. Yeah, evidently those points are... There we go. So we're hearing the beep, and we should hear that until we come all the way around the other side where it says 2, 3, and the F mark comes up. And I'm going to put it right on the F mark. And now I'm going to move this plate until it comes back on, and then move it slowly until it goes out. And then this one I can snug this plate just a little bit and creep up on it. We're about there. Let's tighten that down. And the same procedure as the other side. Reverse the engine a little and come back up on it and observe where the continuity beep stops. Right at the F mark. Perfect. Let's turn that annoying thing off, and then we'll tighten all of our screws up. Get the 2 that hold the plate for number 2 and 3. I get the 3 of them here that hold the plate in place for 1 and 4. And we're going to check that nut one more time. That's good. That takes care of the timing. This is the cover that goes on here now. This one was a little bit nasty looking. Let me show you something here on the side. See all that rust? That pitting and rust that's right there? Well, I got after it with some 000 steel wool on the top. The top looked the same way before. I just want to show you how quick you can clean up what looks like really poorly rusted chrome that there's no hope for. Same spot. Take a look at that again. There's the before and after. You can do quite a bit with some 000 stainless steel wool. Now we can put the cover back on. That cleaned up pretty nice. I may find a better one someday, but that one's okay for now. There's a new gasket on the back of here. I put a little bit of Honda Bond on the side towards the cover, just to keep it stuck to the cover a little better. And then when you pull it off later, it'll just stay with the cover. We'll just snug those up a little for now. We may have to get in there later and set the timing a little better, or not, I don't know. But anyway, they're in there. Let's get the coil stuffed in here. Let's see, we got some numbers on these guys. 2 and 3, and this is 1. Okay, so let's sneak this through here like this. There's 1. Where's 2? 2 is right there. Want that one to go that way. And then 3 and 4 will point out this side. Okay. And get the coil mounted up in here. Get the aluminum boss that's on the coil mount over on the other side, the right side, oh sorry, left side of the frame. And we'll put a bolt through, get a nut on there. Then we've got a clamp that goes back here. I'm pretty sure I've got the right part here. I'm not 100% on this one, but it looks to me like that's probably what the function of this was, because it goes right there. And everything I've seen in the books looks like it's just a clamp sitting there. So that would go like that with the boss over on this side this time around. And looks like the bolt went through. I bet you didn't think I was going to keep the Santa Claus hat on. Coils in. We're going to temporarily hook the wires up here with some jumpers to the points down here. I don't have the wire harness on the bike yet, so I'm just going to do it this way. I took the two hot leads for the coil. They're black wires with a white stripe, and I wrapped some wire around those, join them together, and then I can put a clip on them for the positive side of my test setup here. Let's see, this is going to go to 12 volts. That goes to my two coils. This is the number 3 spark plug wire. I'm going to put a spark plug in that one. And this is number 4. And if I test these two, then I know I'm testing both coils, because one coil runs one of them, one coil runs the other. Let's see if I can get these where they're bumping up against a ground of some sort. They need to be grounded in order to fire, of course. Let's see if that'll work. Probably close enough. Now, let's see, I'll hook this up to my 12 volt supply. Let's just clip that in somewhere here. Okay, there's 12 volts going in my coil now. And there's the starter lead. Bump the starter lead on there, if I can bend it around ever. And watch the spark plugs. I should see some sparks. And indeed I do. I've got a spark on each one, so I know I've got a working ignition system now. Told you it was going to be a good Christmas present. I get my day off now because I produced this last Saturday while y'all were Christmas shopping. Anyway, I've got the ignition in and I'm pretty happy about that. All I gotta do now is get an exhaust on here. And by the way, Jay Sandage1, I think it is, commented on YouTube about, I think I'm pronouncing it right, Delkevic or Delkevic, I'm not sure which. Anyway, exhaust system's really cool looking stuff. Stainless steel, only 325 bucks. Looks like really nice setup. Individual pipes that go into a collector, held on, you know, with the springs, and then a really nice race style muffler on the back with what looked like a pretty decent baffle in it. So gonna look into that for sure. That looks like the answer. I mean, stainless is way better than, you know, something cheaper that's gonna rust, and it's actually less money. So it's not cheaper. Looks like the Mac pipe is maybe a little bit more expensive and they rust. But whatever, I think I'm gonna go for the stainless one. So thanks to, what was it? Jay. Anyway, thanks, Jay. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. And until next time. But it's good to have the exhaust. That's not the exhaust, that's the ignition.